Welcome to Crappy Cartoons, a series here on YouTube. Unlike all my other reviews here on YouTube, I will be looking into crappy individual episodes of, well, cartoons in a more in-depth way than I did before on my review site, which I will link below. Now, I've been reviewing Total Drama as I thought it was the first animated reality show, which is what gave the show its charm. However, I was wrong, and I'll be getting to that in the near future. However, back to the topic of Total Drama, it's still my second favorite show, and that's because I've seen every character, every character has a story and a purpose. And like all shows, you get the good episodes and the bad episodes, and for every animated angel, there's a crappy cartoon lurking somewhere. And that being said, Total Drama has a lot of those moments, such as one episode that I constantly look back to and just despise, Up the Creek. If you would like to read the review, as I said before, I will have a link in the description below to my review site where you can read the series review of my Total Drama, and you can read my little, synopsis of Up the Creek for the Total Drama series review. Anyway, continuing on. The episode starts off directly at the beginning of a challenge, as if Alex Nussbaum, the writer of the episode, didn't want to write too much. You see, most episodes of Total Drama have a beginning area to maybe get some character development, maybe a nice setup before the challenge, but no, Nussbaum just jumps into, here's your challenge, go with it. I mean, come on, this episode was right after Phobia Factor, which is one of the best episodes of Total Drama Island. This has no early episode excuse, like, say, Dodge Brawl did, Alex Nussbaum's other crappy cartoon. And what is this challenge I speak of? Well, the campers are to take canoes to a place called Boney Island, carry them across the island, build a bonfire, and paddle back. Now, this is one thing out of many that bugs me about this particular episode. It had potential to be great. I mean, the challenge has more parts to it than any other basic challenge did, at least for at the time. Anyway, Chris explains to the campers that if they take anything off the island, they'll be cursed forever, and Owen cheers at the thought of a cursed island. Now, this isn't too out of character for Owen, as cheering in the face of danger is very much one of his good traits. However, in this episode, it can get kind of annoying. Anyway, the campers go to the canoes, and Beth comes out of the bathroom, missing the whole lecture of the cursed island. Remember this, as it'll be important later down the road. Anyway, the campers go to pick partners as Gwen and Trent want to canoe with each other, but Cody wants to hit on Gwen, and Lindsay and Beth want to canoe with Trent. For whatever reason. Now, here's another thing that bugs me. Lindsay, Beth, and another character, Heather, are all in an alliance together to get the final three. And Heather, being the leader, will be trying to split anyone else close together apart. And she does this just fine in Search and Do Not Destroy, but in this episode, it's weird. I didn't miss anything. We're 4 minutes into the episode. Heather hasn't once talked to Beth or Lindsay, and yet Lindsay and Beth want to sabotage Gwen and Trent's relationship. It just feels like we're missing something. We then cut to Izzy, the psychopath, trying to push a canoe before falling in and seeing Lashana come up with the canoe. Izzy tells Lashana that she's part of the Cherokee tribe, whatever, and that the tribe can claim her at any time, and Lashana responds, hoping it's today. Nothing important, just some funny banter. We see Duncan claiming Sadie and Harold to be his partner, and Bridget getting Courtney instead of her boyfriend, Jeff. Jeff sees this and explains Bridget has been giving him the cold shoulder recently, something we didn't see signs of, ever. DJ decides to be Jeff's canoe partner, and Owen gets Heather. DJ then asks Jeff if canoes tip over, and Jeff explains that they can, but only if they hit rough water, scaring DJ. It doesn't take long before we know why, though, as DJ explains, as a kid, his brothers dared him to jump off a high dive, and as he did, he created a wedgie flop, which is where you land on your butt instead of your belly whilst doing a belly flop, something we did see Harold do in Not So Happy Campers Part 2. Anyway, that incident made DJ afraid of water. Now, please keep this in mind that they're 16, and it was when they were kids. So DJ could be rusty at swimming. I want you to keep this in mind as well, as it'll also be an important point I need to make. Jeff tries relaxing DJ as they get onto the water, and Owen scares DJ some more by riding down, rocking his canoe, and then Heather hits him. The canoe race starts as Chris fires off a gun that he wishes had blanks in it, as he hits a bird, predictably. Soon after, we cut to Gwen and Cody tries to hit on Gwen, not taking no for an answer. And we see the campers talking as they're on a lake, pretty much. When we reach Courtney, Bridget, DJ, and Jeff talking about why Bridget has been giving Jeff the cold shoulder. Bridget found a heart-shaped macaroni picture frame with a note saying,
I hope you think of me whenever you drop loose change into this.
And simply put, everyone but Jeff sees a problem with it. We cut back to Gwen and Cody as Cody explains that he knows why Gwen has shot him down and he blames Trent. He also says that he can get Gwen and Trent into the same canoe on the way back if Gwen gives him her bra. I'm not kidding. This is a children's show that aired in 2008 that makes a joke about a woman's undergarment. Pretty impressive, despite the fact that they can get away with saying the word crap in the Canadian version of the show. Anyway, after about 5 minutes after hearing about Boney Island, the campers arrive there. Now, I know I complained about the pacing being too fast, but my full complaint about the pacing in this episode is that it's too spastic. Sometimes it'll go too fast, others it'll drag on forever. It's not consistent enough, and I know other episodes have that problem, but usually there's a reason behind it, as only 1 or 2 sets of characters matter here. We have a ton of them trying to squeeze in a 1. And that just doesn't work. At all. And that's why Nussbaum, in my opinion, is the worst writer of the group. So the screaming gophers start running through the island, passing skull after skull on the way there, and spotting some woolly beavers. The campers run until they reach a dead end where Owen farts and wakes up a group of Canadian pterodactyl geese. Just go with it, they're canon. They run from the Canadian pterodactyl geese, and Cody pulls out a loaf of bread from his pants. They throw it to the Canadian pterodactyl geese, which stops the chase before the killer bass run past them and reach a fork in the road. They take the right path, so the gophers go left. Ugh, I'll try saying that 5 times fast. The gophers continue walking until Trent walks into some quicksand that we find Chris placed. Lindsay goes to help him as she gets stuck in it too. Cody jumps in to save him and actually doing something by getting a vine. Trent and Lindsay thank him, and Gwen reminds them that they still have a challenge to win. We then cut to the killer bass where suddenly Jeff gets a splinter because plot relevant. Anyway, Bridget goes to help him and Jeff says to leave him and go on. As Courtney was going to do that, DJ stops her and tells her they can't leave him behind. They then arrive at the beach where they see the gophers working their magic on a rescue fire, but we find the bass already have a fire because Duncan has a lighter and Chris allows it. We then cut to the campers getting more firewood as Beth finds a miniature tiki doll hidden in the bushes, which she picks up. Now, remember, she wasn't there to hear about the curse, so I'm not blaming her for this. But this becomes relevant in 2 more episodes, so I won't talk about it here. Anyway, Trent and Cody are talking as Cody pulls a soda from his pants and tells them that Gwen is in a Trent, before Heather reminds them that they're in a challenge in one of the 3 Heather lines throughout the whole episode. We then cut to Jeff making a huge deal about the splinter that's really bugging him a lot apparently. DJ and Jeff make an even bigger deal about it, but Bridget checks up on him. Courtney says that the fire isn't big enough, and under some form of complete stupidity, Harold throws the paddles into the fire, leaving them no way to paddle back. We then cut to Izzy, who has some form of chemicals in her hands as if hooked up with a fire. And it does, causing an explosion so big that you can see it the next island over, being the equivalent of a nuke. We then learn that the Royal Canadian Mounted Police is after Izzy as she volunteered at a place. As it becomes time to paddle back, as here's one of the biggest ass pulls this side of Johnny Test. The bass start yelling about their lack of paddles when Izzy tells them they can get someone to push behind the boat. Bridget suggests DJ do it, and Jeff explains that DJ, and I quote, can't swim. Not that just he'd be rusty at it, he really does not know how to swim. DJ agrees to it and starts flutter kicking behind the canoes, being as fast as a single motorboat carrying 4 canoes and people on them, as he manages to beat the screaming gophers even after them getting a huge lead over the bass, and to crash into the island in a Dukes of Hazzard moment. Anyway, LaShawna yells at Izzy, and we cut to the elimination ceremony where Izzy gets chased away from the RCMP. This is an episode that shows when a writer didn't give a fuck. The only good characters were the ones with little to no speaking parts. The pacing was too spastic, and the ending was obviously thrown together as an excuse to get rid of a gopher, even though they were in the lead the whole fucking time. There was just far too much wrong with this episode, which is why I'd say if it wasn't the worst episode of Total Drama, it's up there.